I am so angered by the news reports I've been seeing regarding the Smithsonian that I must take up my pen and write. But no one does that anymore, so I type frantically away at my keys instead to deliver this message to you. As a former curator, I need you to understand museums because they belong to you, the public. Both sides are making a claim to that word right now, public, and only one definition matters. The Smithsonian Institution was founded in 1846 through the bequest of James Smithson, a British scientist who never set foot in the United States. In his will, he left his fortune to create an institution for the increase and diffusion of knowledge. Congress accepted that extraordinary trust and established the Smithsonian to carry out his wishes. This summer marks 180 years of that mission. For nearly 2 centuries, the Smithsonian has described itself as an institution devoted to independent scholarship, research, and serving the public. It is nonpartisan. Let me shout that louder. Nonpartisan. Those words are not a modern invention. They are woven into the institution's identity because knowledge cannot belong to one political party. The moment it does, it ceases to be scholarship and becomes something else entirely. I want you to understand what a curator actually does. We do not begin with opinions. We begin with objects, with documents, and with evidence. One of the most important words in museum work is provenance. It means we can demonstrate where an object came from, who owned it, how it arrived in a collection, and why we believe it is authentic. Every exhibition label you read has been researched, reviewed, debated, rewritten, and checked again. It is slow, meticulous, and unglamorous work. It is built on evidence, not certainty, not perfection, but evidence that can be examined, challenged, and improved. That work exists within a legal and ethical framework known as the public trust. That is not simply a beautiful phrase, it is the foundation of museums. Museums do not hold collections because they own history, they hold them as stewards on behalf of the public for generations not yet born. Every artifact, every photograph, every fossil, every handwritten letter has been entrusted to their care so that all of us, not just today's leaders, can learn from them. Governments change, administrations come and go, political parties rise and fall, the collections remain. The permanence is the point. So when any government seeks to influence what a museum should emphasize, omit, reinterpret, or prioritize, understand what is at stake. This is not simply about the Smithsonian, it is about your inheritance. Museums exist under the public trust. Their first obligation is not to presidents, members of Congress, donors, or political parties. Their first obligation is to the evidence itself. The Smithsonian receives a substantial portion of its funding from Congress. That means political pressure is real, but institutional independence does not survive simply because people assume that it will. It survives because generations of museum professionals, scholars, conservators, archivists, educators, and museum members and members of the public insist that scholarship must remain independent even when its conclusions are uncomfortable. Because the moment evidence begins to change to satisfy political expectations, it is no longer only the museum that changes. It is your history, it is your inheritance. And once history is rewritten to serve the present, it becomes far more difficult for future generations to discover what was actually true.